Lots to achieve in show business. Show business is a tough game to be in. Longevity is even harder. Reality shows have made, the longevity of a career seem even more bizarre, right? You can come back, but be a joke. To actually keep it and to continue in a way that you feel comfortable with to get to a third act, that's difficult. You could say that our guest tonight has found the third act of a lasting career using fame and marquee value in unexpected ways. I'm excited to have her back in the program. Kim Cattrall is on her way in. Here's her bio.
Kim Cattrall says that people are often disappointed when they realize that she's not Samantha Jones from Sex and the City.
I'm not most women, so unzip and get over here.
But even if Kim's not the over-the-top person that Samantha was, she certainly has her drive. And since the series has ended, Kim has shown what she's made of. Look at her latest choices.
Why don't you settle in and then come up and join us?
She's worked with Roman Polanski on The Ghostwriter, took on what you might call an unglamorous role as an aging porn star in a film called Meet Monica Velour.
Believe me, bending over in roller skates is not as easy as it looks.
She's also getting serious about things that matter in her own life. Having dealt with the whole storyline about breast cancer on Sex and the City,
well, who do you have to get chemo around here?
Kim has now narrated a new Canadian doc about the disease at a time when health issues have hit home in her own life. She's back on the stage in Canada, some would say bound for Broadway. She's now playing a woman who falls in love with her ex-husband, played by Paul Gross.
There isn't a particle of you I don't know, remember, and want.
I know, my sweet.
It's the Noel Coward classic Private Lives, and the play does take Kim back to her roots in theater. And just like Sex and the City, this one challenges your ideas about love, marriage, and happiness.
Someday I'll find you.
Please welcome Kim Cattrall. Nice to see you again.
Good to see you.
How are you? Welcome back, miss.
Thank you.
You're,
Good to be home.
it must be nice to be coming back, isn't it? You're really good in this play.
Oh, thank you.
You're really good. And the chemistry between you and Paul Gross is pretty interesting, considering you guys didn't really know each other.
Not at all, no. We had heard of each other, and we sort of come from the same generation of actors, but we'd never met.
So to get into this, it's an interesting place to be because you really do have to challenge the idea of can love work, because it's an old work set on a, and you're doing it in a time where we have a different relationship with relationships now.
Do we?
Yeah, the audience does, for sure. And it is because Hollywood's played a different role, I think, over the last 20 or 30 years.
Well, this was the original rom-com that Noel Coward wrote,
Yeah.
and he wrote it over a weekend. And he was obviously, well, he wasn't gay, he wasn't openly gay in his time, in his period, but it was known that, he was, in his personal circles, that he was. Yeah. But he's really observing heterosexual relationships in a beautiful way, very truthful way, painful way. But it makes for good comedy.
That's an interesting perspective, because I mean, it's the same thing that they can apply to Sex and the City, right? It's that if you have an outside view of heterosexual relationships, you can see it differently in ways that heterosexuals maybe don't see it.
Yes, yes. Well, Sex and the City was mostly a writing team of straight women and gay men.
Right. That might explain why.
On both sides,
that might explain why all the straight men were written a certain way. What does happily ever after mean to you?
In my personal life?
Well, yeah, well, in your life, but in your mind.
I think contentment. And that's something that I'm experiencing now in a different way than I ever had. I think in my younger years, my 20s, my 30s, like most women of my generation, it was establishing yourself. And finally, that happened for me actually quite late. It happened in my 40s, early 40s. And that has really given me so much confidence to...
Establish yourself in which way?
In a way of, people knowing who you are and wanting to be working with you and financially secure, all those things that you never know are ever going to come as an actor in your life. I mean, I graduated of a class of 60 people in New York when I went to the American Academy, and I am the only one that's still working. And really, the only one of my year who really had a career.
Is it, because
So
I know you work hard, but lots of people work hard and don't pull it off. So what do you think it is that's put you in this spot?
Well, being stubborn, I think, helps a lot. Not saying no for an answer, because a lot of people did say no. And, in retrospect, I think that those were good decisions, because it might not have worked out as well as it did. But throughout the whole period of me as a young actress, as sort of a middle-aged actress, and now just still a middle-aged actress.
Look, Kim, if you live to be 200, you're still a young actress, right? You're still a young actress.
Well, the great thing about this job is you really can't retire. As
No,
long
really
as you
can't.
can memorize lines or read a teleprompter, you got a job, you know.
What I liked about this particular play was the fact that it took you back to a different era of relationships. Because most people, rightly or wrongly, their relationships are informed by two things: how it was in their home growing up, and which Hollywood lie they bought.
Yes.
You know?
Or really, not really Hollywood lie. It's storybooks. It starts with, you know, Sleeping Beauty. The prince comes, and you know, you just can't get away from it.
This
And
is why I'm
Disney
glad I
is
read Stephen King, because I did not, at 12, I didn't think about Sleeping Beauty. I
Are
thought
you
about.
single?
Yeah, well, yes, that's a problem. Yes. But.
Not that Disneyland is made for happy marriages,
No,
you know.
true. I'm not paying any alimony either, so it's all right. You know?
Okay. You're not putting anybody through college.
No, I'm not. I'm not. When did it occur to you that storytelling would have such a huge role and it may not be true when it comes to relationships?
Well, I think my dad was a really great storyteller for me as a kid. And one of the stories that he told to me, and I believed, as my siblings did, which is, you know, if you've got the goods, you can make it in whatever you want to do. I remember taking a typing course in high school, and he found out I was taking it, and he said, why? And I said, well, if I don't make it as an actress, I can, you know, I have a skill, I can get a job. And he said, there's no second plan right now, kiddo. So I pulled out of that and took a study and did dramatic arts instead.
You're a British subject, you're Canadian, and you're also American.
No, I'm not an American.
No, but I mean, like, you have such a strong, you have a life there as well, so you have three places that can be home to you.
I very much consider myself a British Canadian New Yorker. How about that? Did I wriggle out of that?
No, that works.
Because both my parents are British, and I've spent lots of time in Britain throughout my childhood and now in this period of my life, the last 7 years in particular, doing a lot of theater. So I recognize the British roots there, but I feel very much a Canadian, and I don't want to give that citizenship up.
In a
for America.
crazy alternate universe. Oh, well, hold on. You can clap based on how she answers the next question.
Oh, boy.
In an alternate universe, if Canada ever makes the World Cup and we play the English, who do you root for?
I always root for the underdog.
Well played.
In that arena.
In that arena.
In that arena.
That makes perfect sense. There's a moment in this play, too, that I liked when you and Paul, there's this idea of you can't be with them, but you can't be without them.
Yes, have you ever experienced that?
Yeah,
It's so painful, isn't it? It's so painful.
And you look at it and think, the only way we're going to survive this is if we either disappear from each other or we're just going to die.
Yes,
There's just no way to survive. There's this moment when it gets really heated. Can we play the clip from Paul talking about this? When you guys, you hit each other.
Can't wait.
Kim has a phenomenally solid right hook. The very heavy punch. She could have been a prize fighter.
See, in the play, Paul's character goes to slap her, but he doesn't actually make contact. But apparently when you hit him, you hit him.
8 shows a week, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Yeah.
All that anger about men just comes out, you know. It's just really, hey, why not? No, we really have such a good time. And Paul has done so many, you know, fight scenes in films and things, so he really was getting into it in rehearsal. You know, you have to do this and you have to sit there. So I just let them be the guys, and yeah, I whack them.
And pull together. Stick around. We're going to find out the first age-inappropriate movie that Kim ever saw. Anthropology with Kim Cattrall right after this.
Look at the four of us. We are so like the Sex and the City girls.
Oh, no, we aren't either.
Which one are you, Donnie?
I ain't either one of them. I'm Donnie.
That is such a Samantha thing to say.
Back here with Kim Cattrall. Did you see that? You saw the movie, Bruno?
I did. I saw it in the movie theaters, and I literally, there was like 4 or 5 people in an afternoon I had off, and I was laughing my ass off. I can say ass off, right? Laughing my ass off. And I'm so used to being on HBO where I could say everything, and then, you know, suddenly you're not, and then you have to be very careful.
Say whatever you like.
Say whatever you want. Well, that's good to know. Yeah. So I actually guffawed, and everyone else in the audience was wondering what I was guffawing about. But it was that moment.
You were incognito with a hat and all that business?
Oh, no. I just looked a mess.
It's amazing what that character has gone on to mean to people, isn't it?
Oh, it to me, too. It was an extraordinary experience. It really was.
Yeah, many people still talk about the breast cancer plot line and how big a deal. You just narrated this doc called About Her, which I think just aired.
Yes, on Saturday night.
Narrating a doc about cancer stories and breast cancer stories. What story connected with you when you're reading that?
It's just so beautifully handled because, and that was one of the things that I was really worried about as far as the series is concerned, because, you know, cancer on television especially can become a movie of the week where it's, oh my God. And I'm not saying that cancer isn't oh my God, but it's a lot of reality things too. Just slightly different shifts in your life of this dramatic event which will change your life irrevocably. Right. And I was nervous that we were going to turn it either into high drama and make it as some kind of punishment, really, for this character, especially breast cancer. Almost like Valley of the Dolls did with Sharon Tate. You know, suddenly she's victimized because she was sexually free, which has been done to women from the beginning of time, you know. So for me, I was worried about when I heard that that's what was going to happen. But when I read the scripts, I went, phew, because they were so smart, our writers, really, really smart.
Speaking of Sharon Tate, Roman Polanski just came out and talked about how he regretted his actions in the past, you know, where he raped a girl. And I wondered, Roman Polanski is two people. He's celebrated by the film business, and actors love to work with him. But he's this other guy who never really faced justice. And I wondered, when you were presented with the prospect of working with Roman Polanski, did you have any hesitation in going, I don't know if I want to work with this guy because of what he's done?
Well, I have a very clear definition of separating someone from their work and their life. I also felt that I had seen a documentary before I had done the film, which was really posing a lot of questions, as if, you know, really trying to find out what had happened in that judge's mind, and really exposing what an egomaniac he was, and how getting Polanski, just like as the Knox case today has just come out, that this girl is innocent. And I'm not saying that he wasn't guilty. I mean, he's admitted to it.
Yeah.
But what I'm also saying is that there were other, I think, very specific things that were going on that people didn't know about at the time. It was so sensationalized. Not only was he this famous director, but his wife had been killed by Manson. And, you know, it was just fodder for so much runaway gossip and heated debate and propaganda.
But the action was true, though.
Yes.
The crime was true.
Yes, it was true. It was true. And he was, you know, he did time. He did 11 months or something in jail, which is what the judge said he must do, and then he'll be free. So it was all these plea bargaining back and forth, which happens in any court system. And he did his time, and then he wanted to get him again because he felt that, you know, public pressure, you know, he was an elected judge, that he wouldn't maintain his reputation. So I think there was a lot more to that story, you know, at the time. And you know, what I'm learning in my life is to be less judgmental. I mean, even this is rape, and you really have to be very serious about that. I'm not questioning that. But he was given a bargain that he was going to be free after a period of time, and that was revoked. So you have to look at what the judicial system is and really question that.
What was he like as a director?
Incredibly controlling. Yeah. I see all of our performances, and I see Roman all over them, you know, and not just with his actors, but with his crews. I remember doing a scene where I had to open up a closet, and in the closet was hanging clothes of a character that you never meet in the film. The beginning of the film, that character is washed up on the beach. And he felt that the clothes of a character that you'd never really met or seen, was only talked about, were wrong. We're shooting, it's 10 o'clock at night. He's in his 70s. Everybody's tired. It's been a very, very long day. He's literally on his hands and knees reorganizing a closet for a shot. That's the specifics that he works under.
Does that drive you crazy as an actor?
Well, it certainly drove his camera crew crazy because the shot was here, but he was using the closet there and underneath. But you just can't stop him. You know, he's that pure in vision and in reason and on message about what his film is. And that kind of passion you have to respect.
The next one is Monica Valora. Talk to me about this film here, an aging porn star kind of movie, and being tracked down. To be in that film, these roles are written all the time for men. And all the time. It's The Crazy Heart, you know, Jeff Bridges' movie. It's all the time.
Yeah.
But for an actress with a career, these roles aren't written as often. So how did this come to you?
You know, I discovered when I turned actually 35 that the amount of scripts that I was being sent as an actress had diminished. And there were a few of us left actually still doing this full time, you know. I noticed that, and then Sex and the City came along, and that changed everything for me, thankfully. And then after Sex and the City was over, I was looking to do different kind of work, and I was finding that, you know, with so much satisfaction in the theater, but in film, not so much. I mean, the Polanski film was very interesting. I did a film with John Borman that was also very interesting, working with these titans. But I got this little script through my agent. She said, "You're not going to want to do it." And I said, "Why?" She said, "Because, you know, you don't want to be seen like this." And I said, but I'm in my 50s, goddammit. You know, when am I going to be able to be seen like that? And why can't I become a character actress? Why do I have to maintain this certain look or feel or sexuality? Why can't I take what I have sexuality-wise and turn it inside out and look on the other side of being sexually exploited or sexualized?
What's the first age-inappropriate movie you ever saw?
Porky's?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Weirdly enough, after The Deep, the second sexual inappropriate movie I ever saw was Porky's.
Was it really?
Yeah. So
No, but
thanks
I'm a little
for that.
older than you. Oh my God, sexually inappropriate. I think I either read or saw a movie called Candy, which was pretty hot for a teenage girl on Vancouver Island.
So now that there's rumors, they seem to be confirmed that Arrested Development's coming back for another season and potentially a movie. What about Sex and the City 3?
I don't. You probably know more. You
No.
people in the audience know more than I do. I have no idea. I hear prequel more than sequel, but I really don't know.
Would you be open to it?
You know, to me, it's always about the script. If we got more to say, that's why we stopped after 6 seasons. Everyone felt that we had done it, and then to do the movies was so much fun. But I think everyone has kind of moved on, and I wouldn't want to diminish what we left.
Unfortunately, that was well. You really need to check out the play. It's called Private Lives. It's in Toronto until the 30th of October. Kim Cattrall, everybody.